Coach, we've seen a lot of special things from Dalton this year. Can you kind of just put the second half, that last 12 minutes, I guess, into perspective?
Well, first of all, it was a high-level game. I thought both teams played extremely hard, and nothing easy came on either end. Both teams really impressed with all the players that played. It honestly is a high-level, hard-fought game. But at the end, obviously, Dalton, we were struggling to score, and that had a lot to do with what they were doing. And he was struggling at the free throw line, but he got it going, and we just said, hey, we're going to get it to him, and the other guys get ready to try to get him open, and he'll make the play, and then we got to rebound the ball. But still, with that said, guard him on the other end. We had to try to get some stops, and Janai Broom was awesome. I thought he was terrific tonight in terms of what he did, but that's a performance that Dalton did. I mean, what he did in the last, 12 minutes, I think. I mean, it's just one of the great performances that I've been able to see.
We'll go Mike, Ben, Ryan.
Yeah. Rick, when you're coaching that final 12 minutes offensively, what types of plays are you putting in? How are you coaching that? Or is it simply, here's what we're doing, but Dalton, do what you do?
Well, we have a set where we normally have, 2 guys up, 3 guys down below, and it's something that we know that we can go to. But I will tell you this, we changed a little bit. Instead of having him a chance to come off either side, we moved him over to one side and told both guys to go get him open, and really gave him 2/3 of the court to try to get open and get the ball. He did it, and then it's up to him. It's up to him to make the moves and the shots that he thinks he's got, and those other guys have to deliver, because you saw at the end they were working really hard to take him out, and he was trying to use that as a way to get Zakai open, and Zakai made a big 3 too, and I thought Santi's layup there, when that tough shot he forced up there, was a big play. But when they're and Dalton was trying to do that, he was trying to get Zakai going downhill, but I think Zakai was so locked in to trying to get him the ball, and but at the end we were just spacing out and trying to give him room to operate.
Rick, another game in which you win the rebounding battle. You strung together a couple of performances in that area. Are you starting to feel better about how your team's rebounding?
Again, they're a hard team to guard, and run really good actions, and Bruce does a great job with them, and Janai Broom creates a lot of problems, and we didn't want to get too spread out, and he starts operating in there, and then we try to double, and he's such a great passer there. And oftentimes when you're doing that, you get yourself out of rebound position. But tonight, for the most part, I thought we fought hard to get back in to try to come up with some balls. I think we gave up 1 or 2 on the free throw lockout, which we can't do. But we've harped on it enough all year and worked on it and keep talking about it. And we've got to continue to talk about it and see if we can stay consistent with it.
Talked about how y'all's offense is at its best when multiple guys are involved. It's not just Dalton, but how comforting is it to have him as a security blanket when shots aren't going for other guys?
Well, it is. There's nights when he hasn't had it and other guys have stepped up. And I like to think with our team that whether it's our inside play, where you look at the numbers that Jonas and Tobey gave us, that's a good night for those guys. And but when it bogs down, when you miss some free throws. First half we turned it over. Z turned it over 4 times in the first half, and it wasn't his fault. It was the spacing. We weren't getting to the corners. We weren't getting in a position underneath the basket, and we shrunk the floor on them. And they're good with their hands, and so our spacing was not very good. But that's what you hope. You have a guy like that, and I've had a couple, not many, but there's not many of those guys that can do it at the way he did it tonight. And we've seen him do it. You guys have seen him do it in other games, but we honestly have some other guys on the team that if they get going like that, we think they can do it, but maybe not to that level, because he can score at all 3 levels. I do think that, and they were running at the end. They ran 3 guys at him, and I might have done the same thing, because you could tell when a guy gets heated up like that. And Bruce has been around a long time. We've all seen guys that can get that going maybe at a level like that. I'll be honest with you, J.J. Redick did it. He torched us for 43 one night, and I'm telling you, you sit there and you feel helpless because of the shots he makes, and just trying to guard him the best you can, but to get it going, it's hard to guard.
Go West, Caleb Reese.
You talk a lot about the stuff that Santi and Josiah do and how it doesn't always, sometimes it's hard for people to see, but that putback that Vescovy had late and those 2 or 3 block shots that Josiah had in the final few minutes there, is that what you need from those guys in moments like that?
And their calmness, you know, they, yeah, I mean, we do need it, and again, those guys have been in games like this over their career, but it's those winning plays that we talk about, fix-it plays, whatever term you want to put on it, and somewhat of it is their composure, because they do a lot of coaching out there. I mean, they know, like, they will say, like, we got it called, and sometimes you'd be shocked if we come out of a timeout and a couple of guys still, whether they're just caught in the moment or whatever, they don't come out and execute the way we need to, and something that we continue to address. But those guys, you never worry about that. Those guys, they know exactly what's going on, and you can do it on the fly with them during a game. I mean, they can be coming down the floor and just got to yell one thing to them, and they can fix it all. And that is invaluable. I'm telling you, that's invaluable as a coach to have guys like that.
You mentioned it earlier a little bit, Coach, in passing, but how important were what Jonas and Tobe gave you tonight in the post?
Well, we need it, and again, those guys are going to continue to get better and better and better, and we really believe that. But again, it's tough down there. Again, I'm thinking about Janai Broom. I mean, guarding him one-on-one, he's as hard to guard as any post guy we've played all year. And Bruce does a good job doing things with him, and roll him in there, bring him across. He's a very good passer. You try to double team him. How many assists did he have tonight? He had a couple that were big.
5.
I mean, that's as big as the baskets he makes, because he's getting somebody. If we're in rotation, he's getting somebody a great look, and you got to give him great credit for that. But Jonas and Tobe, we just need them to continue to improve and bring that consistency.
Coach, back here, how much of your game plan was to isolate Dalton on the wing against Janai Boone? Because he had a couple of big buckets in the second half for him.
Well, we decided that at about the 12-minute mark. You know, it's because we were struggling, and a lot had to do with them, and the players know it, and we knew. We've seen them again do it at times, but it's just what the game folded into, and we needed to do it. They were kind of doing it on the other end with Janai, trying to get him, drawing players to him and making plays. But there was some high-level shot making going on out there, and they made some high-level shots too. They hit some threes from the corner, and it felt, honestly, it was I'm sure it was a great game to watch, but it was a high-level, hard-fought basketball game.
Coach, it seemed like early on the plan of attack for Auburn defense was to deny any entry pass, especially to Adu. While it didn't work often, how impressed have you been with Adu's ability to not only get in position and receive the ball, but entry passes?
Well, when he fights for that, that's when he's really effective, when he gets his space. And again, but he's got to fight and hold it, because, you know, again, Janai Broom knocked a few away there because he's got length, he's strong, but Jonas is just going to continue to improve there. But when Jonas can knock down those 10, 15. I mean, Jonas can make a 3 too. He knows when to shoot it, when not to, but he's got great touch at 15, 17 feet. But when he's getting around the rim now, he's learning how to absorb the contact and try to play through it. But it all starts with him getting his space to begin with.
Coach, the first 10 minutes or so of the second half, there was kind of an abnormal number of whistles. What did you think you guys did to kind of weather that storm of kind of the rhythm of the game being interrupted?
You know, I mean, I haven't looked at it, but it seemed like, probably 50 free throws. How many free throws? I don't even know what it was. What did we shoot? I mean,
63 total, you shot 35.
I do think, again, I think it's a hard game to officiate. I do every night. And when you got two teams that are playing at the level that both teams were playing at tonight, they're trying to be as consistent as they can with it. But, you know, we missed, during that stretch we got behind, we got to make those free throws because we were struggling to get good looks, and that had to do with them. Overall, again, I think the officiating, like I say, it's a difficult game to officiate. But when you got two teams playing with the intensity and the force that both teams were playing with, it obviously, and I'm sure their idea was we just can't let it get out of hand, and I'm sure they called it the way they saw it.
Rick, was Dalton capable of nights like these when he got here, or was a night like this a product of the work that he's put in this year?
I don't know that much about him, other than a highlight tape that I saw when the coaches showed me him a couple days before he was coming in. And but I can tell you, I walked out of here last night at, I think, 10:30, and he was walking back on the court. And he deserves what's happened to him while he's been here, because he's worked extremely hard. He loves it. He's a very humble person. I think the fact that when you have older guys like we have, and for our older guys and people that have been with us to embrace him the way they have, I think it speaks a lot about his humility. And he loves those older guys dearly, because he will defer to them all the time if he had to. But they're the ones that are telling him, hey, you got to get going. And but he in the last 2 weeks, there is no question that I've been harder on him in practice than any of the other players out there, because I want to see more from him on the defensive end. Because again, Bruce, other teams, they go at him, trying to get him out of the game and try to put him in positions where he has to pick up fouls. I don't want to see that happen, and I still think with whatever time we have left, I want him to leave here knowing that we didn't stop coaching, did try to help get him better. But his work ethic is put him where he is today, and in some ways he's a young 22-year-old guy, and I'm telling you, if he has time to continue to develop like I think he can, he's got a bright future.
A few more for Coach. Go West first.
Rick, when you're recruiting a player, is there any way to try to find any kind of idea about how a guy will handle sort of big moments, like when there's this many people in the arena, whether it's home or away, and the crowd's either behind you or in your face, and if you can rise to those moments?
It's tough. I don't know if I'd call that recruiting. I think it'd be more evaluation, where you try to find that out as much as you can. And the only way you can really do that, I mean, you do your intel work, and assistant coaches are on top of that, and you watch them as they're coming through like a typical, say, a high school player. You get to see them so much, and you can kind of see a little bit of that. Certainly not what in a crowd like this. Our arena has been electric, certainly a lot since I've been here, but the last 2 games has been awesome. And but to answer your question, I don't think you know it until you see it happening right in front of you. And but we watch it in practice. I mean, I will tell you, you see guys get going, and we got a couple other guys that can get going to a level, maybe not to that level, but to a very high level. And I think if we all, that's a really good question, because I think if we all could really know how to answer that, I think it'd make our jobs a lot easier. I really do.
Rick, how big can that kind of answer be this time of year, where you're playing for a league title, you're down to 8 at home, 12 minutes left?
I think it's important. You know what? That's an elite type game, and if you're going to move on in a tournament, in that kind of game, it's going to be the runs, the ebbs and flows of the game, and can you maintain your poise throughout the game? And we did. I mean, it was tough. I mean, we'd get up and they fought back, but as much as you want to keep that separation or get that separation, and they're too well coached. They play hard. They got good players, as we do, and this time of year, they're competing for everything too. I mean, as hard as we are, they are too. And but when you can withstand, the runs that they've made, and I mean, they did the same thing. We got down, they came back, and it's one of those games. That's what made it really a big time level basketball game.
Coach, what went into the decision to double and dig on Janai Baroum, and how do you feel like you executed in that area?
Well, you saw we let him go baseline twice, which you can't do. I mean, that's his patent move, and for him to do that, that's really a total breakdown of the scout report. And when we doubled, we knew that he was a really good passer, and he's very unselfish, and I think he really likes to pass the ball. Tonight, I mean, he played terrific. I mean, he played terrific. I mean, you look at I didn't even look at his numbers, but he made some threes. His assists were the ones that kill you, because he makes you come with two, and he finds the open man, and, and at the end, when we needed to stop, he had a play right in front of the basket that I thought, was a tough shot for him. I think that was a big play there where we were able to come up with a rebound. But again, Bruce does a terrific job putting him in different areas, making him difficult to where he just doesn't set him on the block and leave him there, and rolls him in there. And but you got to give Janai a lot of credit. He made the right play a lot tonight, and responsible for a lot of not just points he scored, but for his teammates' points.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.